my pick of the entire first hour, and if you blink, you may miss this one. This particular piece actually sold out the last time that we offer. I'm sorry, no. This is based on one that sold out. Reading my notes, this is based on one that sold out the last 2 times we offered it. We couldn't do that one again, but what we could do is bring you a brand new version. Now we have small, medium, we have medium, large available, and the detail in this, I'm gonna let you hold this for a second as I change my necklace. The detail in this is unbelievable. I have 130 people who can do this. First off, look at the size of the stones, and that's all Kingman. I mean, those are big 20 by 15 millimeter ovals. And then the design and the detail in that beautiful, beautiful bracelet itself, I mean, that is second to none.
Then you look on the inside.
Yeah, tell us about that. Tell us about the styling of it.
You have the stamping here that is made by Gilbert Smith. He is one of our silversmiths that's been with us for over 15 years. There he is. And right now he's starting to teach his grandkids the art of silversmithing so they can start to fill in his shoes and go on their way to be a master silversmith just like him.
And talk to us about the style. I mean, like, if we can go take a tour through the bracelet and show everybody the styling on it.
Well, here you have 5 stamps of turquoise, and that is to show you the meaning of the sky and water, the sky stone being the turquoise that you have here. The story behind it is that for different natives, they say that before there was men and women, the Father Sky had appreciated, water and Mother Earth so much that what he wanted to do is show a symbolism of her true beauty. And so when man came about to be, what he had done is that he made a piece of himself to give to man to show appreciation for women, which was the stone of turquoise. And it is said to believe that it is in honor of Mother Earth because what she does is she heals and she protects those of us around us, and she feeds us if you take care of her. And to show appreciation, a piece of turquoise is supposed to heal you, it's supposed to protect you and keep away all the negativity from you.
Well, and I love too that we have the small, medium, we have the medium, large, so even the gentleman, if they wanted, would be able to wear this. And this will accommodate any wrist size because it's open in the back and you can squeeze it down just a little bit to accommodate your wrist size. And I want you to please, if you can, use Express Automated Ordering. I'm gonna say with everybody on board, maybe 50 people can do this. This, in my opinion, like if I could reach through the screen and hand this to you and have you feel the weight of the sterling silver, the heavy, heavy weight of the sterling silver alone. And we had it appraised at $740. We're doing it for $77.98. And then back to the detail that is all entirely done by hand, and then the matching of that gorgeous turquoise across the front, and cherry picking and hand selecting, which is particularly hard to do with Kingman since there's so many different shades within the Kingman turquoise. And when you think about it too, this is more than jewelry. It's art that has become the livelihood for many of the Native American artisans, and it's a way to keep their culture and their history and their spirituality alive, right?
Oh yes, and especially for turquoise, just for an artisan to work within their means, and especially the kind of turquoise that they have, what they do is I have a piece of turquoise right here that what they do is when they have it mined, they have a person go and cut it, and then you have it polished like that. And what you see is that what they do is they cut out their turquoise, the clearest part, the majority of the time, and they work with it, and all the beauty that you have there is the jewelry that we bring to you today.
They just told me in the medium large, we have 10 left. In the medium large, we have 10 left. In the small medium, we have about 30. I'm gonna leave this one on until it officially